Welcome to the Content 10X Podcast, the show where content creators learn how to harness the power of content repurposing. And now, your host, Amy Woods.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Content 10X Podcast. I'm your host, Amy Woods, and this week is a special episode because it is our second birthday. So it's the podcast's second birthday, episode 104, so that's 52 times 2, which means that we've done it for 2 years now because we have been consistent every single week since we started. So we will have to celebrate with some cake later. And I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much to everyone who is listening right now and who has listened to us in the past, who really supports the show. I really do appreciate it. I hope that you're still getting value, and I'll continue to add as much value as I can in the world of content repurposing every single week. And please do subscribe to the show if you like what you hear as well. I'd really appreciate that. So this week's podcast episode is based off conversations that I had at Retain Live event that at the time of recording this was actually last week. And Retain Live was a wonderful event. It was the first time that the event had been put on by my good friends Mike Morrison and Callie Willows, who are the membership guys. And the event was for online membership site owners to basically learn how to develop, grow and make money and run a business from their membership. So super niche or niche event, and it was really good. And I spoke about marketing and repurposing. So specifically, I spoke about repurposing the content that you have from within your membership into marketing content. And I got really good feedback from the talk, and it sparked lots of really interesting discussions with people during the breaks and lunch times and in the evenings as well. Really, really interesting discussions. And I wanted to share some of the key points that I made at Retain Live and the key points in discussions with people as well on today's episode. So if you have a membership site or online courses or basically any type of service or product whereby you're creating content that people purchase, so essentially your business has premium content that's sitting behind a paywall, then hopefully you're going to really like this week's podcast episode because I'm going to be providing some tips on repurposing for marketing. So I believe that many of us wonder quite a lot of the time what our next blog post is going to be, or podcast or YouTube video, or what we're going to post on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, because when we are content marketing, it can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge to come up with that next piece. And then also the content, for example, ads as well. So Facebook ads, Instagram ads. The answer, I believe, lies in the content that you have created for your members or your online course, whatever your premium content is. So why not take that content and repurpose it for your marketing? So instead of creating completely new and different content for your marketing, look at what you can do to repurpose and slice and dice and mix up the content you already create for people who are paying for that content. So why should you do this? So firstly, transparency. We're all very wary and cautious these days, can be quite cynical online, not always trusting everything that we see, and quite rightly so, because there is quite a lot of scams that happen online. But if you create marketing content from your premium content that you want people to go on and buy, then there's this complete transparency. People are seeing what you are selling. It's basically the content that is behind a paywall is behind a see-through glass paywall. Total transparency, and people get to experience in a smaller capacity what they will get if they go on and join your more premium program, content, course, whatever it may be. So first, it's just that transparency, and it leads to more trustworthiness, and people feel a bit more open because what you are using for your marketing is what ultimately people will go on to get when they buy, just in a different form and bigger form and adding more value because people are paying. So the second is congruency, when everything aligns. If you create marketing content from your premium content, then everything has the same look, the same feel, the same vibe. So it's a really great thing to do, because when people then go on and join your membership or your course, whatever it may be, they, almost get this warm, fuzzy feeling because everything is just how they expected it and more, hopefully. But the congruency really, really helps with the overall experience. So you're more likely to get people to stay, and more people are going to be happier, because imagine if you had been marketed for something for quite a while and it just seemed in a particular way, particular style, form, vibe that you got. And then when you paid, it was just completely different. Like everything wasn't quite the same and it just wasn't what you expected. You're more likely to not be as happy, more likely to be uneasy. But when everything aligns and everything is congruent, that is when you're more likely to really start on that high note and be on to a winner. So how do you do this? So let's go through a few examples. So let's say that you have training videos, Q&A videos, maybe member calls, tutorials, courses, but that kind of video content that's behind the paywall. Why not slice and dice that video content into short social media videos? So each little video would add value in its own right. Let's say it was from a Q&A, then it would be you answering a question really well, or from a training video where you're showing really a great tip or a great technique for someone to follow. But you're just taking short teasers. It's not all of the content, just maybe a 1-minute teaser that you can then share on social media. Always explain where it came from. So this is me answering a question in this month's Q&A. There were 20 other questions that were asked and we provided comprehensive answers. If you want to be at the next one, then you need to join our membership or whatever it may be. So always letting people know where the content came from, the tease, so to speak, but adding value in its own right as well. Other things you could do is, for example, resources that you may have, like checklists and templates and swipe files and things like that. Could you dish them out as a lead magnet or a content upgrade? So you may have a blog post or podcast episode or video that piece of content directly aligns with and would help people who consume that content. You could offer those as a content upgrade or just as a general lead magnet on your website. If you have a membership or a group or some kind of forum where people are asking questions and getting answers to questions, then repurpose those questions as well. You could repurpose them out into social posts, into blog posts. You could create some video content letting people know some of the questions that you've just answered. And again, add value, help people, but let them know that this is part of something so much bigger that people need to pay for in order to take part. And never forget just that behind the scenes content as well. So when you've just put a new course live or a new module in your training course or a new resource in your resources repository, whatever you may have, let people know, do behind the scenes content, go onto Instagram or Facebook stories and let people know that you've just uploaded something into your member area or into your course, so that people can understand and hear what's going on behind the scenes, but also maybe create a little bit of FOMO if they're not going to go and then benefit from that work that you've just shared publicly in terms of what you've been doing to grow and enhance your premium content. So my point here is there's lots of ways to break down your paid and your premium content into marketing content. You'll get that transparency, there'll be congruency, and it's not reinventing the wheel all the time, meaning that you could have systems and processes in place to make you feel like you're more in control of what your marketing content is. Now, you don't have to give it all away as well. I totally respect that some people have paid, and you may be thinking, but people pay for this content and you're suggesting that we dish it out for free. But my whole point is to be really smart about this. Choose content that's just snippets and small sections that will add value, but it's only a tease. So it's a little bit like a movie trailer where we get to see the trailer and we enjoy the trailer, but we know we've got to go to the film for the good stuff. So it's just being smart, not giving too much away, but just enough away that your members won't be angry, but people will be interested in paying for whatever, for the course, for the membership, for the premium content. So I hope you found this episode really useful. Again, this is our second birthday, so I shall go and have a cake and blow out 2 candles on the cake after recording this episode. Again, thank you so much for listening to the podcast as well. I really do appreciate it. And please do hit that subscribe button if you like the podcast. If you ever want help with your content repurposing, then don't hesitate to get in touch. Head on over to content10x.com to find out more. But we offer a fully end-to-end content repurposing service, so be sure to check us out. And also my book, Content 10x, More Content, Less Time, Maximum Results, is on pre-order at the moment. So head on over to content10x.com/book. And if you order the book, which really is the ultimate guide to reaching more people online by repurposing content, then you will get a free copy of the audiobook and 50% off our Content 10x toolkit as well. So be sure to go check the book out. And do follow me on social media at Content 10x on all of the social media platforms. All that's left to say is thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.